Hey guys, it's LaxBeat. Here I'm going to show you how to string the sidewalls on a lacrosse head, or at least how I do it, because there are many different ways to do it. First, you're going to want to get 2 sidewall strings, obviously, and you're going to want them to be about to your bicep from your fingers, but I'm a little bit tall. You might want to get it to your shoulder, and they're going to have to be equal length. I'm sorry, this is tipping over. Okay. And then you're obviously going to have your head already done with the top string. If you don't know how to do a top string, watch my other video, how to string a triangle top string. But what you're going to do, you're going to get your 2 strings, and you're going to make that same double knot that I talked about. Just make 2 loops, put the string through those 2 loops that are parallel to each other, and pull that knot tight. Okay, and you're going to do that with both strings. Alright, ta-da, it's done. Okay, and then there's so many different ways to do sidewalls. First of all, I'm using the STX X10. This is a defensive head. It's geared for nothing but defense, so it's a very wide head, and don't expect me to get a huge channel on this because it's a very wide head, as I said. That rhymes. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is, at the top, you're going to pull the mesh down as much as possible. What I'm going to do is I'm going to see first if I can skip a hole and then loop this first of the 10 diamonds to it. And if that doesn't work, I'll just move it up a row. So what I do is I go through the hole with this sidewall, I come up through the diamond, back through the head from the outside, and back through the inside of the diamond like that. I call that a loop. And then I'm going to pull that down, and then I'm going to pull the string through while I'm holding it, and then I'm going to just kind of pull it down together. And then, as you can see, that worked, and you want it to be tight, so that's a good way to do it. You can see it's really stretching that diamond. And then whatever you do on that side, you have to do the other side. And in order to keep it even, you want to do these at the same time. Obviously not exactly at the same time, but soon after. So you're just going to do that again on the other side. Make sure you're staying on the same hole. You want to keep it consistent and not screw up, obviously. Okay, so it's going to yank that down, hold on to it, and then pull the string through, and then yank it down again. So there, we got that. Then I'm going to see if I can skip another hole and do a knot. What I do for my knots, I come through the outside of the head, I come through that underneath the diamond, and then I go through the outside of the loop and through, or I guess it's the top side. And in order to get that tight, you gotta pull on this string right here that's going through the diamond. You gotta pull that down, and then you gotta hold that, and then pull the string through. Alright, and it should look like that. You can see that knot. Do that on both sides. So again, you're coming through the outside of the head, through that loop, and through the top of that loop you just made. You're going to pull it down, hold on to the string, and then tie that through. Make sure that they're even on the opposite side. See, this one's holding a little lower than this one on this side, so I'm going to have to redo this. So I'm just going to push it back up and start over because it's too far away from the head. So I'm just going to pull that down, hold on to it, and pull the string through. And I can already tell it's a lot better. Pull it down, see how it's going, and it's good. Alright, so we got those both done. And then here I see that I need to start loosening it up because it's already really tight and it's a wide head. So I normally, some people would do 2 interlocks down here, but I find it more effective if you skip every other hole on a head that has a lot of holes like this. So what I found that to be true lately, so it doesn't bunch up. So what I'm going to do is a one eye. So I'm going to come through this bottom of the mesh. I'm going to go through the head. Then I'm going to come up through the diamond and then through the bottom of that loop, unlike the knot. And then I'm going to pull that all tight down. And as you can see, that does still pull it tight. Okay, I'm going to do it on this side now too. Give you a different angle on it. I'm going to come up through the mesh, like that, down through the head. Remember, I'm skipping one here. I'm skipping a hole. Up through the loop, or up through the next mesh hole, and then up through the loop, like that. And then hold these down at the bottom while holding the head, and then kind of push it. Make sure it's looking good. And I think it is. Alright, now this person wanted a mid pocket. So mid pocket's going to be about in between these diamonds. So here's where I wouldn't want to skip a hole, because this is pretty, these are fairly widespread. A clutch would have two here, and that's when I'd want to skip one. But here I'm going to do a double in between these two to make sure it's a nice evened out pocket, a nice defined pocket. So what I'm going to do is I just came through underneath two mesh holes parallel, and then I'm going to push them down the string. I'm going to hold this up and I'm going to push them parallel together. I'm going to come through the outside of the head, and then I'm not going to go through any diamonds there. I'm just going to come through that loop without the mesh holes at all. Alright, and then I'm going to pull that really tight. I'm going to kind of twist it around like that, and you can see it's bunching up, and that's where the pocket's going to start to form. And again, on the other side, there's a different angle, just up through that one, up through the second one. And as you can see, it kind of rolls around. You don't want it to do that though. You want to push these down together. Alright, and then you're going to come through the outside of the head, through that loop. Alright, now pull those down, pull the strings down, and then push your pocket to see where it's going. So you can see it's starting to form already. Remember, pull these tight. Now normally you'd think that this is going to be really illegal, because you can already see that the pocket's like really bunched up, and it's really high up. Sorry. But that's why you're doing singles the rest of the way. So it'll kind of ease off the pocket a little bit. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to come underneath. I'm going to come underneath the next diamond. I'm going to go through the head and then around that loop. Like that. Make sure it's tight. Okay. Do that on both sides. Alright. I do not know what happened to my ball. Fine. Alright, as you can see, it is not letting it be total bag. Now that I did that one single, it is pulling it down a little bit. But as you can also see, it's starting to bag out. There's a channel. See, it's not a huge channel, but it's nice. It'll come out right. Alright, and now since I see I don't really need to do any more doubles, or I'll find out. I shouldn't have to. I'm going to do another single. I'm going to come up through the head, or up through the mesh, down through the head, and then tie that. Okay, both sides. Pull it tight before you do it, like that. Up through the diamond, down through the head, loop around. Alright, now push your pocket. Mine looks kind of weird right now, but that's only because it hasn't been stretched out. You're going to push that a little bit. It'll start to soften up and become that pocket that you want. As you can see, it's nice right now. It looks super nice. Alright. Now we're going to do one more single. Alright, so you're just going to do what you've done before. I shouldn't have to tell you. I'm just going to do it. Just make sure it's tight, both sides. And normally I would skip holes here, but this head, they're not that close together like a clutch. A clutch, you never want to hit two holes right after each other unless absolutely necessary. But here we go. Make sure that it's still, the pocket is where you want it to be. If it starts to get lower like this kind of is, well, this is actually still mid, but the bottom string will prevent from it becoming a low pocket. If there's like nothing up here, you're going to want to double up or triple up one more time. And you're just going to push that. As you can see, it's still hanging in the middle there. And then here at the bottom, first I want to count how many diamonds I have, so I can make sure this isn't going to be a total bag. East Coast Dies uses 9. I use 10. I don't do the most defined pockets because they whip. So here we'll count. Don't count that row of the top string. You're just going to count the one of the 10 there. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I have room for about one more. On this, you could probably have 11 because it is a very wide head, but I probably wouldn't recommend it. Alright, but here's what we're going to do. I learned this recently. I'm going to come down through the head, or through the mesh, hole like that. I'm going to come from underneath the sidewall hole. Alright? Like that. Pull that down, and then I'm going to loop it like I did before. So this is going to be an L. I'm going to come back through that same diamond, through the top, and then back through that same hole below that string. Or this, it's the same string, just through that, where I put it through before. And this may be hard, especially on some heads. If it doesn't work, go down to the next hole. Alright, so what you're going to do, you're going to pull this bottom part, or the top first, make sure that's tight, and then pull the bottom part. That'll make sure that's tight. And I really like this technique. I saw this done on somebody's head before, and I thought I had to use it. So it really works well. Alright, so I'm going to tie that off. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make a knot as tight to the plastic as I can. And then I'm going to make a knot underneath that. I don't like how loose that came out, so I'm going to do it again. Hold on. See, I don't stand for anything but perfection. And you shouldn't either when you're stringing your head or somebody else's. Come back underneath it. I can tell it's a nice tight knot, and that's what you want. Alright, let's finish off this side. Pull this tight. And then we're going to do our bottom string thing, or bottom sidewall hole thing. It's going to come through the top of the mesh, down through the inside of the hole. Pull that tight, sorry, and then back through the top of the mesh and back through the inside of the head. Like I said, this can be hard to do, especially if you don't have a good tip or the sidewall holes. Some of these you won't be able to work it in, but this one I know I can. I already did on the second one. I mean the first one, but alright, I'm running low on time. I gotta make sure this comes through. I'm almost at the 15 minutes. Alright, I got it. Alright, so I'm going to pull that tight, and then I'm going to make a knot on that side. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Oh, good. Gave me a little more than 15 minutes. I don't know how much more, though. Oh, sweet. It's extended. I don't know how long I can make my videos. It used to be 10 minutes. Now they can go past 15, which is sweet. So I don't have to rush it. But right now, it looks really odd because it's not forced. You're going to push that pocket. Alright. As you can see, it's a mid pocket. It's in the middle of the head there. You can also see it's kind of a bag at the bottom. That's what your bottom string is going to prevent. So, first off, I'm going to see if I can use this leftover piece of string from my top string. See if I need to do very big bottom string or not. It all depends. I'm going to pull that tight. I'm going to come through this bottom sidewall hole that I left open. And then I'm going to find this 9 diamond row beneath the last row we did of 10. And then I'm going to come up through this hole. Up through this hole right here. I'm going to skip one of the 9 and then come up through the second. Then I'm going to jump all the way down to the bottom to the second to last. Pull those together. Come back through the corresponding hole on the opposite side. Like so. And then I'm going to pull it all the way, and while holding onto that, I'm going to see if it has any pocket. And it does. So I'm going to have a pretty tight bottom string on this. I'm definitely going to loosen it up a little bit. But there you go. There's a mid pocket. Like I said, I don't like a super tight channel, but this obviously has a little something on it. And your pocket should kind of lay where your double up went. Excuse me. Allergies. Okay, and then you're gonna, once you got that done, you're gonna want to roll a ball around in it. Just 1 second, I'm gonna find a ball. Here we go. Make sure it's legal. As you can see, that's legal. And pull it up a little bit above that because the mesh will break in a little bit, even though it should be pretty well broken in. So this one I'm going to have a tight top string. Sometimes you need to loosen it a little bit, but this one I don't, so I'm just going to make that knot. I'm just going to make the same knot I always do for the second knot. So once I make that tight single knot, I'm going to come underneath it and make that second knot, even though this string is really tight. Alright. Like that. Okay. So as you can see, it's a rather undefined pocket, but I'm fine with that because he didn't want whip. He wanted to throw nice stuff. And believe me, this isn't going to throw nice. As you can see, it is a nice pocket. Alright, there's the channel again. It's a widened channel. But kind of throw it in there and then roll around with it, see if you like it. Oh, my bad. It has a nice little pop. Push it all around. This is obviously going to break in a lot. I may even have to move this up. Yeah, I'm probably going to have to move the bottom string up so it's not illegal. But the next video will be on shooting strings. So thanks a lot for watching this one. Please subscribe. Obviously, you shouldn't do sidewalls exactly like this in the string, unless you're stringing an X10. This is just a general outline and how I did this head specifically. There's a lot of room for deviation. Alright, so that's how you string mesh sidewalls. Experiment with it until you get it right. Make sure everything is tight. Those are the tips I'll give you. And thanks a lot for watching. Please subscribe. I'm going to let this go to 20 minutes exactly, just because I like doing that stuff.